Hello everyone and welcome to another amazing episode here this morning. We are very, very excited to have in our studio this incredible entrepreneur, and not only an entrepreneur, but really one of the most incredible ladies I've ever met. And as a result, we are so impressed with all the things that she's doing. We wanted to have her on this show today so we can show you what you need to do to get your business to the level that you wanted to get to. So today in the studio, we have this incredible friend of ours, Kelly, Horiuchi, right? By the way, that is Japanese, and you're kind of looking at her and go, hey, she doesn't look Japanese, but her husband is Japanese. So anyway, yeah, it's like you don't know if they're Chinese or Japanese or Korean or Filipino until you actually know what their last name is or you hear them speak, right?
True.
And I think the Japanese last name is probably one of the few last names in the Asian culture where there's like more than 2 syllables. So anyway.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it's a Torres, Gonzalez, or whatever, then you know they're Filipino. And then if it's Kawasaki, Yamaguchi, then you know they're Japanese, right? And if it's singular, Kim, Chang, Kim, whatever, then you know they're Chinese. Or Korean. Yeah.
Yep.
But Kelly, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing, John?
Good, good. So obviously I know who you are, your background, but I'd love to have the audience know a little bit about you and your background and what you're doing now. So tell us a little bit about your background.
Daughter of an immigrant,
Yes.
Believe it or not. So we actually joke that my husband's more white than I am because he's 5th generation, I'm first.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Is that right?
funny.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I've had a medical background. I've also had a background in culinary. I directed an air testing laboratory for many years,
Okay.
and then went into kind of the financial realm.
So how does somebody that you have a very extensive background doing everything from culinary to everything else, and now you're in the financial industry, how did that all happen? I mean, it's like so much of you got one side of the brain working, and then you got the other side of the brain working. You're working all aspects of this. So how did you get into the financial industry?
I wanted to. I was building a lot on the laboratory side and did all of that, and
Sure.
then I kind of needed to change gears. I didn't want to be my boss or my boss's boss, and so I said I kind of need to switch it up. So I started kind of putting my feelers out and started having a lot of discussions with folks, and so I had a really good discussion with somebody and kind of launched a new direction.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. And so how does somebody get into the financial, because can anybody be successful in the financial industry, you think? Or is it just something that you need a specialty, a certain kind of education or knowledge or skill set to be successful?
No, I think anybody can be successful because it's got to be something from the heart. I think there's something with the financial industry that if you don't have that passion to kind of legacy plan, help people get into a new environment, a new kind of path and progress that they need to make, I don't think you're going to see that success. So I think everybody has that in them. So I think everybody can do that. And I inspire a lot of people to bring that back. Because I'm seeing a very scary trend. If you look at corporate, and I was involved in corporate for years, so I get it. The trend is now kind of contract employees. And so I'm not seeing people actually build wealth. 401ks, people don't have options for 401ks anymore. It's kind of interesting. So there's kind of a scary trend that's starting to happen. And so I decided to come onto that side of it and try to start planning for folks in a more personal way. So I think.
Now, for someone who, in business, I think almost everybody has to be good at sales to some degree. How did you learn how to become a great salesperson? Because you're very good at what you do. And so how did you develop those skill sets?
I go into every situation just trying to make a friend. Just kind of simple. If I know that I'm going to put them in a better place, they feel that, and therefore everything kind of moves forward pretty smoothly. So I don't know, just kind of keep it simple. It's not, I have a desire, and they feel that desire and passion for them to be in a better spot, and so that's just what closes. They feel that.
How do you, when someone's trying to do sales, like some people say, oh my God, there's some things that people fear, right? Public speaking, sales, because people are always so concerned about what people are going to think of you, or the rejection process, How do you handle rejection, or do you have any rejection?
Everybody has rejection. Let's be real. That's got to be 100% honest. That's going to happen.
Sure.
But I usually take rejection as either I didn't communicate properly to the person, or it's a no right now, but it could be a yes later. So I don't look at it as ever final. Everything's changing right now every single day. So a no right now, in 3 months, I've had clients come back to me and say, oh, you know what, I'm ready now. So you just got to remember that sometimes it's a longer term picture than just right now. So that's how you deal with it.
Timing is key.
Timing is key.
Yeah. Now, what from a leadership standpoint, like what do you look for in people? In order for you to invest your time in developing those people.
I'm looking for a grit. People call it mental toughness, whatever, all those different kinds of things. I think it's just grit. And it's somebody who's willing to push through adversity, somebody who's willing to keep trying. We had kind of a little power group last night, and a bunch of people were saying, oh, well, I was sick during the week, and so this didn't happen and that didn't happen. And so, the few of us that were kind of on the leadership side said, well, for example, I had my wisdom teeth out last night, and I still did 4 appointments right after I had my wisdom teeth out. And people are telling me they're sick. And I'm like, okay, so there's a lack of grit there, or just kind of stick to it, or just get through it, right? You just have to do it. And I had somebody in the office go, well, you just had your wisdom teeth out. Are you sure you're okay? Can you go do the appointments? I'm like, well, they have to be done. So I'm going to go do them. And so there's a mindset and a mental attitude. And so that's what I look for in somebody. Have they gone through adversity? Have they pushed through? Have they been successful? Do they know when they come up against a wall that they're going to go over it, not just stop? So that's what I'm looking for.
How does somebody develop that grit? If they don't, are you born with it, or do you think, or is that something that you get through osmosis? If I just rub shoulders with you, will I develop that grit and will it transfer to me? How do you think somebody develops grit and have that drive?
I think it develops over time, potentially, in some folks, and some folks are born with it. I think some people naturally are just super achievers, work hard. Maybe that's circumstances they had when they were young, or maybe it's something that's happened to them, adversity in life or something like that. I think it comes down to that, have you found a desire, something that you really want? I think that's what produces that grit, right? We talk about that with the book, right?
Yeah.
There's just a lack of that kind of that deep desire. I don't think a lot of people know what that is anymore. I think we're kind of like lukewarm. I call it kind of the lazy river of life. Everybody just kind of floats through. Yeah. And there's very few people that have that desire. And so I start to try to pull that out of people, or try to at least understand if that's in them when I'm talking to them. And then once you ignite that spark, sometimes you can build it into a flame. Sure. For some folks, other folks, like, they just really don't care anymore. It's really kind of strange. Sad.
Yeah. Now, have you always been a high achiever? Like, are you always been like one of those driven people? Have you ever had any tough times in your life, or any obstacles in achieving success?
Yeah, I'm the eldest child, so lots expected of the eldest child always.
Sure, yeah.
And I've been in sports. I've always been like an A student, things like that. I've just always known that I can outwork anybody. Push comes to shove, I'm going to just outwork you. I will get it done. Maybe it's in a different timeline than you, but I will outwork you. I know I can absolutely outwork you. So that's just kind of what's been in me. I don't know, maybe that's my firefighter dad, maybe that's the teacher and my mom. I don't know what that is, but yeah, my sister is completely opposite me, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Same genes, same gene pool. So what drives you? Like, why are you wired that way? So it's interesting that you bring up your sister, who's the opposite of you, same gene pool, yet you're here and she's maybe not as driven, or, why do you think that is? Like, what drives you?
I know that I have to be there for my parents. I know I'm the one. Sadly enough, my parents think their retirement plan is their house. And I'm like, Mom, what if the market crashes? Like, what about that? They both have their pensions. I get it. They're in a different mindset. But when I started to get into the financial realm, I said, I want to change the fabric of my family. I want to change legacy planning. I want to get back to that, like, Rockefeller thing that why can't we change this and start to change America again? And when I started to get into that, that's what started to really fuel my passion. And so I'm looking out for my kids. I want to set the stage for them. I want them to be more successful than me.
Sure. So
yeah, that's what fuels it.
So can we talk about your kids? How many kids do you have?
Two.
So do you set high expectations from your children?
You said in the beginning my husband is Japanese.
Yeah, yeah.
You have my combo, and I think I'm secretly like an old soul or Asian inside. I don't know, because we both have that drive. So yes, we have very high standards in our house, good or bad, I don't know. So when they come home with a B, have you heard that called the Asian F?
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
That's what we call the Asian F. So yes, the kids get A's. We have one volleyball kid, one soccer kid, and it's just balance. We want to be there for them.
Sure.
Do their successes with them and everything. So yeah, I mean, Sunday morning I got up at 3:30 in the morning to drive to, Irvine for a volleyball tournament with one of the girls. So there you go. So it's a good thing.
So let's talk about that from a lot of women who will choose, obviously, well, I shouldn't say always, but they're kind of caught. They're like, okay, they're caught over here where I want to be a full-time mom because I have this, responsibility, obligation as a mother,
right.
To get up and to drive them places and be a part of their upbringing and to teach them different skills and be a part of their sports activities and everything else. And then on the other hand, you're over here and then you got to do laundry and you got food preparation and you got groceries and you got mail and you got bills to pay. And then over here, you've got this entrepreneurial lady. How do you know how much time to put over here and how much time to put over here? What do you do to plan your day to know or your weeks to balance all that stuff, and at the same time have some time with your husband?
That was one of the reasons why I left corporate America, because I was at the lab 8 o'clock in the morning until 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Sure.
Saturdays included.
Right.
So
now that's in corporate America, right?
That's corporate America.
That's not even being an entrepreneur.
No, that was corporate America.
That's right.
So I said, okay, I'm missing the volleyball games, I'm missing the soccer games, I'm missing all of those things. So that's why the financial realm, I needed to explore that, and so that gave me the freedom. Do I hyper plan my life? Yes. So seriously, every week we meal prep. So everything we have 2 fridges, the one in the garage, it's full of Tupperware right now as we speak, full of Tupperware. Everybody grabs and goes all week long.
Oh, wow.
We meal prep either Saturday or Sunday. Well, Sunday we were busy all day, so guess what? Meal prep was Saturday for a couple hours. The kids do their own laundry. We meal prep, the kids meal prep with us, because otherwise we're doing fast food, and so it doesn't work. So how to put it all in is you just have to rearrange and block your time. And I do set a time every single day where I need to stop work. And that will, and that's insanely hard as a mom, a woman, like you said, divided with all these different things. But I know I have to put on the mom hat. I have to take it off because I know that, like this morning, I had to go through an essay with my daughter. I'm like, okay, let's reread this essay. Let's make sure it's locked in and we're good. And so the mom hat had to be on, and then, then I went to work and did all that. So you got to just kind of flip it on and flip it off and be okay with that. It's hard, but you do it.
Yeah. You can't wait to see the grade, right?
Yes, it better darn well be an A. We worked hard on that.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So much to do. Now, so what are your plans now over the next 3 to 5 years? Like, what are your goals, or what are you planning to do?
Grow, obviously, our company. Make that grow, be sustainable. My daughter's already told me, Mom, when can I start working for you? So that's great. 14.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, well, you got to get a little bit older. Hold on a second. My husband is still in corporate America, so we're bringing him into the business full time. So we'll both be partners in the business, which will be really great. So that's our 5-year plan. And it's just incremental growth every single year, just getting better and better and better, and just helping other people. And I think if your heart's in the right place, that desire's there, the focus on the goals, all those things every single day. The power of writing down those goals, like that's what gets you there. And I've continued to do more and more of that, and it's transformed, and it's weird. Your brain starts figuring things out that you didn't think it would be able to figure out. So yeah, it was kind of leaving corporate America and like success, 6 figures, bonuses, the whole thing. It's like, is this going to be a better life for us? And yeah, it's shaping up to be a better life for us. We have the freedom of time, we have all of that, and so that's a great thing.
That's wonderful. Great. What are like some tips? Like, give me like 5 tips you would give an entrepreneur who's starting off, that's getting things going. What are 5 things that you could share with them so they can avoid some of the pitfalls or the mines on the minefield?
Number 1, understand your goal. Make an absolute definite decision. I think that's where everybody goes a little wrong in the beginning. It's like, well, I think this might be a good idea. I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to kind of dip my toe in. And so I think I had to burn the boats. For me, I had to burn the boats, and I had to say, okay, I'm going to do this 100%. I couldn't dabble. So I think number one, clear, decisive decision. Number two, get your time figured out. Really schedule your life. I mean, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I go to bed I try to get to bed at 9. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's 10. But, the day is blocked out and it's scheduled, and that's what has to happen in order for me to be successful. You need to win the mornings too. Number 3 is winning those mornings and making sure that you've gotten done those like 3 to 4 things that will make your day smooth. Otherwise, those things are always in the back of your mind. Oh, I got to get to that. I got to get to it. And it bugs you, and then you don't focus on your current tasks. So that's the other thing that I would say is successful, to make you successful. The fourth thing that I would say is persevere. You're going to hit walls. I do Spartan races with Scott. We've got one, my husband, on Sunday, and there's something called a slip wall. And so if you look at that online, you're muddy, you're wet, and you're going up the slip wall, and you get to almost the top, and you see this streak that comes down of like muddy people because they've almost made it but not. So that perseverance, like I take some of that from the racing that we do. And the funny part is that sometimes it's somebody who helps you over that wall at the end. So that perseverance, you never know. You got to push through the tough stuff. But occasionally you ask for a little bit of help, and that's what really gets you over the top.
Sure.
So that's the last thing. And just, focusing on just your beliefs every single day. Take the time to meditate, take time with God, take time with whatever it is. Just have that focus in the mornings. Because, that winning the morning is that peaceful time too. I have to take 20 minutes in the morning. It's like everything shuts off, no phones, no nothing. It's just, that's my time to like calibrate, focus, go, then I get my, amazing things done in the morning, stuff like that. So that's how I'm trying to be successful. Sure. I'm still learning and growing too.
Yeah, which is great.
Those will change.
That's what we're always saying.
Yeah.
Are you a big reader? Do you read a lot of books?
Yes.
You do? What are like the top 3, 4, 5 books you would recommend for entrepreneurs to read to get their business going?
So I'm a follower of Mel Robbins, 5-second rule. That's one of the things that started to get me going in the right direction.
What does that mean? What is the 5-second rule?
So the 5-second rule is it's kind of a launch to success. So she went through a period of depression, and she realized that everybody kind of gets stuck. And when she realized how to break that little cycle for herself, she would always hit the snooze alarm in the morning. And so she said, I'm going to do like a rocket launch like NASA. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. So anytime you're stuck doing something and you're like, you're grinding, whatever, you don't want to make that call, you don't want to make that, connection with somebody, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it.
Boom.
Don't think, just do. And so we all get that little kind of hesitation every now and again, rejection, whatever, what if. So do that 5-second rule, and then so I do that repeatedly throughout the day. So that's one of the ones I follow. I like that a lot. Tony Robbins, Unbreakable. I like that a lot. Tells us a lot about the financial industry, a lot of things that have happened. And so if you learn business, any business, you'll be successful if you start looking at those things. Think and Grow Rich, huge. Mindset. There's a huge, it's a big topic, and I don't think many people realize how powerful and how many negative things you're hearing all the time. And you've got to program this computer well. You really have to program it. You have to nurture it. You have to feed it.
Sure.
And until I got introduced to those concepts and I started feeding it, and I don't understand why people don't. But they don't. I don't. It's sad, honestly, to me that people don't self-develop and don't read and don't do that. I'm super busy. I do it a lot on audibles. Like I'm in the car.
Yeah.
I never listen to the radio. People are like, "What's the top song?" I don't care. It's not going to do me any good tomorrow.
Yeah, not serving you. Yeah.
No, it's not serving me anything. So there's always a podcast. There's always a book. There's something on in my car. I'm going through Leaders Eat Last right now
Good
by
book.
Simon Sinek.
Yep.
So I'm going through that book. There's just no shortage of great books out there.
Right.
Just all those. You have to, I think there's an exploration that you have to go through a little bit to find that book that you're going to need, because there's different books at different times.
Sure.
Maybe there's leadership, maybe it's entrepreneurship, maybe it's mindset, things like that. I like Bob Proctor a lot. Again, it's like mindset.
The mindset, yeah. That was great.
Yeah. So.
That's wonderful. Well, we want to thank you so much for coming into our studio today. We appreciate the nuggets and your wisdom, your experience, and some guidance here. And for those of you guys that don't know Kelly, I want you to click the little link right here. It'll take you right to her information. You can follow up with her, call her up, reach out to her, do whatever it takes. I mean, some of you guys are going through some challenges right now, and whatever it is, just as she just alluded to, do the 5-second rule. And if you don't know what this 5-second rule is, listen up, because that 5-second rule could absolutely change your life. So thanks for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe, make some comments here. We look forward to seeing you guys on our next podcast show. Thank you so much, everyone.